My boys, we have a wonderful machine in our possession, having until we fully explore the full potential of this miraculous machine. We shall tell no one. Hello! Today I'm going to be talking about the 47 sequence environment. And what you want to be looking for are numbers that have a 4-7. So as you can see right here, we have a obvious 4 and a 7 over here. And so in between you have a statement. And over here you also have a 7 here and a 4 here. So the only thing that's separating those is the statement here. So this is the statement here. So the statement over here is 18. And what is the 18 statement? It's basically the IC statement, right? So it says 4 IC 7. So this makes like the IC statement is seen a 4 and a 7, so it's seen 47. Over here you have 47, right? And so this statement is the 13. What is the 13 statement? Is the I am statement. So what you have right here is the I am statement is seeing a 4 and a 7. So this is already kind of showing that you are in a 47 environment. So now we have to figure out what we're expecting in a 47 environment. What you're doing is you're going to see a chain reactions of 4 7s and 4 7 4 7 4 7 4 7. So in other words, we're going to be looking for a number, a bold expression like the 1114 creates a 47. Let me show you this, because you have a 4 here, right? And then you have 111, that's binary 7, right? So it expresses 47. So if you see this sequence right here, this will trigger off this chain reaction, right? It's a 4 7 4, and it just continues down. And so in this situation, if you want to be able to predict the numbers that are going to be expressed, the variables, the options, is that obviously if it starts off with a 4, it's going to be all 7s, right? All 7, 17, 7, 17, and 27. And then obviously we're going to assume another 4 there, so you got to play all options. That'll be 4, 14, 24, and 34, right? So that's how that works. And so as you can see right here, this is a bold 47. And so what we're looking for is a number that might trigger off the sequence. So if you're over here, and notice that you have a 4 there, right? You have a 4. So this possibility, it's a big possibility that this could be the one that starts off the chain reaction. So as you notice, it did sequence to a 7. So this could be the chain reaction. Now I want to explain what 14 is, because this 14 will always sequence to a 27 in most cases, right? So in other words, the 27 carries the statement 2 7s, and so that's 7 7. 2 7s is 7 7, right? And 7 plus 7 is equal to 14. So 27 is equal to 14, or 14 is equal to 27. So this is a natural sequence. So obviously when you see a 14 like that, you're going to play a 27. So if we are in this environment of 4 7s, 4 7, and this is the main statement that's going to express this sequence here, the 4 7 4 7. So you're assuming that it's going to happen here, right? And you play it off that way. So remember, this is a natural sequence here. The 14 is equal to 27. So if that's the case, we're assuming that this 7 is going to sequence to a 4, right? So we're going to play all 4s. And that's 4, 14, 24, and 34. And we're going to hit. Now, we're assuming the same thing. We're over here, right? And we're assuming the same thing right here, right? I think we already explained that. So we're now at this, so we're kind of assuming that it's going to play off all 7s. Of course, we play all those. But the problem is that you have a 7 over here, and that could hijack this sequence. this 7 is possible that this 7 could hijack this sequence. And if so, you got to play the 4s, right? Because this 7 is going to lead to a 4. So that means you have to play all these variables, 4, 14, 24, and 34. So in other words, we're assuming that it's going to land on a 7 here, so you play all 7s. But you got a situation where it could get hijacked. So you got to play all 4s now, right? So if you play this and play that, you cover your base here. And so if that's the case, it happened, now you know that it's going to take a whole new direction. Now, if here's your 7, it's going to sequence to a 4. And then this sequences to a 7. So you already know the answer to this sequence right here because it got hijacked, right? So if this is a 4, and you know it's going to link to a 7, right? So you play all your 7s, that's 7, 17, and 27, right? So that's how you look at this environment of the 47 sequence environment. Another thing is that is interesting is that sometimes you want to find out what the count number is. So this is 47, right? This is 47, and this is the root of the 47 here, right? So if you want to find out the count number, what you do is you have to count the distance between this number and this number. So assuming that all these are all 6s, right? All these sequences are 6s. So what you do is right here, here's the root. So if you look at this as where you start off, so in other words, these are all 6s. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, what's 6 times 7? 42, right? But you don't include that one, so it's 41. So remember that that this is part of the number. So it's almost as though this number were over here because you have to include it. So what you're counting is, in other words, what you're counting is 41, 42, 43, 44, and 45, right? Because you have to include this one. 45. And now notice this. Over here you have the I-45. And over here you have the I-45. And this is where it all triggered off the sequences, right? So this is Mother Nature at its best, perfection, right here. It gives you the count number, right here, 45. The distance between this number and this number is 45, and so Mother Nature gave you a count number of the root here and the root here. So this is a beautiful sequence. And now I'm going to explain another thing here is that, because this concept is really critical. So in other words, whenever you have to figure out digits, and so in other words, the numbers to the right are the value numbers. Those are the critical numbers. So let's say that you're assuming that a number is going to be a 6, definitely going to be a 6, right? And then so you have the on the left hand side, you basically have just the statements. So the statements are over here, and the value numbers, the numbers that you're expecting, are on the right hand side. So values on the right hand side, statements on the left hand side. So if you're expecting a certain number, like say for instance, I'm assuming that there's going to be a 6 type number, right? 16, 6, 16, 26, or 36. I'm assuming this number, and I don't know what this number is going to be, and so this is called the X factor. So on the X factor, there's only going to be three numbers. It's either going to be a 1 or a 2 or a 3. So that's what's going to fit in there. So in other words, if I'm assuming that there's going to be a 6, so I got to figure out what the X factor is. That's only going to be either a 1, which is 16, a 2, which is 26, or a 3, 36. But you also have to consider the single digit number. So this is how you figure out, as long as if you assume a number, and then so that's going to be right there, right? And then you're going to have the X factor over here. So you have to figure out what that is going to be. So the only thing it could be is a 1 or 2 or a 3, right? So this pretty much explains, and obviously I already explained right here, that this sequence here, sequence to 27, and because logically 27 carries the 2 7 statement, and the two sevens is 7 7, and 7 plus 7 is equal to 14. So if you see a 27, play a 14. If you see a 14, play a 27. So that's why I played that off. So this is, know that the 47 creates a chain reaction, and our chain reaction was over here. And the only thing is that you want to consider that it might get hijacked, like it did right here. So you got to play all these numbers here. And once you realize that it got hijacked, then you know the direction that it's going to be taking. It's going to be taking this. So this is obviously going to be a 4, and then this is obviously going to be a 7. So then you play those numbers. And folks, as always, please click the subscribe button below, show some love, give me some thumbs up. I have links below with PayPal and Patreon. And I will see you on the next wonderful world of random sequencing.